My name is Sable Hart, 29 years old. Monday afternoon was sterilized calm, dentist waiting room, kind of calm, the kind where even the plants look sedated. I was answering emails in my studio apartment. A window cracked to let in street noise that sounded safely distant. The kettle clicked off. Somewhere down the hall, a dog sneezed. Peace had a pulse. My phone buzzed at 2:17 p.m. The sender ID could have been a lullaby on any other day. Noah. Noah. Hey, babe. Quick heads up. Remy is going through a rough patch and needs somewhere to crash for a few weeks. She's moving in tonight. I know this is sudden, but it's not negotiable. She's in a bad spot, and I owe her this. I read it once, twice, again. The words curdled differently every time. Remy. His ex of 3 years. The one who was ancient history. The one who taught him what he didn't want. I stared at not negotiable like it was highlighted in a textbook about my life. We'd shared our place for 8 months, split everything 50-50 on paper, except the part that mattered. The security deposit, $2,400, was entirely mine. He couldn't afford his half when we moved in. I'll pay you back, he'd said. He never did. I typed a reply. Me, no problem, Noah. The typing bubbles on his end sprinted with relief. Noah, really? Wow. Thanks, babe. I knew you'd understand. She'll be on the couch. Won't be in the way. Me, all good. Handle it however you need to. Noah, you're the best. The best. How small a word can feel when it's used to keep you quiet. I set the phone down and the room exhaled. Then I stood, slid the closet door open, and reached for the stack of flat-packed boxes I keep for client moves and other emergencies. I guess this counted. First call, Jasmine. The kind of friend who doesn't ask, what happened, until you've had a safe place to answer. Spare room's open, she said before I finished. Coded's the same. I'll be home at 7. Second call, Mr. Anderson, our landlord. I need to remove myself from the lease effective immediately due to a domestic situation, I said, voice steady. There's a 30-day notice on month to month, he replied. If both parties agree, it can be expedited. I glanced at the text on my screen. Not negotiable. If Noah consents, great, I said. If he doesn't, please accept this as formal notice. I'll send documentation and photos by tonight. Third call, my cousin Luca, who owns a moving company and swears by lightning strikes of availability. I've got a truck and 2 guys free at 5, he said. We'll be gentle with your life. I hung up and started packing. Not frantically, not angrily, methodically. My clothes into garment bags. My electronics, the TV, the good couch, the desk setup with the cable ties I obsess over. I left his things like breadcrumbs he could follow back to himself. The creaky futon he'd insisted had character, the framed festival poster he never went to, the chipped mugs he called vintage because he didn't want to replace them. I wrapped the kitchen in silence. The knives I sharpened, the cast iron I seasoned, the plates that made dinners feel like truce. The click of packing tape sounded like a metronome keeping me from shaking. At 5 p.m., Luca texted he was downstairs. We moved with the choreography of people who've done this too often. Elevator timed, corners guarded, every box labeled like a memory that knows how to behave. By 7 o'clock, my life stood in a truck that smelled like dust and second chances. The apartment remained sparse but livable. He still had basics. The couch he adored was gone. The futon he brought was waiting the way bad decisions do. Low, lumpy, tired. I sat at the kitchen counter and wrote a letter on printer paper, clean and unflinching. Noah, you said Remy moving in wasn't negotiable. I respect your right to choose what you need. I've made my choice too. I've moved out and initiated my removal from the lease. Mr. Anderson has your contact information for the transfer. The full rent, $1,950, is due on the 1st. The security deposit, $2,400, was paid entirely by me and will be returned to me when the lease ends. Utilities, in my name, will be canceled tomorrow at noon. You'll need to set up new accounts. Key is on the counter. Sable. I photographed every room, spotless, timestamp glowing at the bottom like a witness who doesn't forget. I emailed the photos to Mr. Anderson with a subject line that could stand up in court. My phone buzzed at 7:23. A text from Delia, Noah's sister, a flurry of question marks and moral superiority. I didn't open it. Another from an unknown number arrived a minute later. Remy, hey, I hear there's drama. Be an adult and talk to him. I placed the phone, face down, as if I were tucking in a loud child. Before I left, I did one last sweep, the ritual walk of people who don't plan on returning. I straightened the towel in the bathroom, even though no one was watching. I put his toothbrush in the holder. He'd forget otherwise. On a whim, I left him the decent set of sheets, because nobody sleeps well on a futon without a mercy. At the door, I set my key next to the letter. The metal kissed the counter with a sound that didn't echo. I turned off the lights. The hallway flickered, the way old buildings confess their age. In the elevator's reflection, I looked like someone I would take seriously. At 8:10, I was at Jasmine's, greeted by a spare room that smelled like lemon cleaner and possibility. I dropped my bag, sat on the edge of the bed, and let my body realize what my mind had already decided. When I powered my phone back on, it convulsed. 36 texts, 11 missed calls. I scrolled to the first and back to the last without opening any, a museum tour of panic behind glass. I typed one message and sent it, the only one he'd get from me that night. Me. You said it wasn't negotiable. I agreed. Direct apartment concerns to Mr. Anderson. Then I set the phone on the nightstand and turned it face down, as if that were a spell. The room went quiet in the way only rooms without him could. Not empty, just mine. Tomorrow at noon, the utilities would go dark. Choices, like switches, have positions. I clicked off the lamp and let the dark hold. By morning, my phone had become a fire alarm. 47 new texts, 11 missed calls, 3 voicemails so long the app had given up trying to transcribe them. The first text was at 9:06 p.m. the night before. Noah, what the hell, Sable? Where are you? This isn't funny. Then at 9:20. You took the TV? Are you serious right now? By 10:30. You're being so immature. Remy is here, and there's nowhere for her to sleep properly. Then the voicemails. Confusion, pleading, anger, and that thin thread of entitlement that never seems to snap. You can't just leave like this, Sable. We need to talk like adults. I said she'd stay on the couch. You didn't even tell me you were going to pack up the place. What am I supposed to do? Do you realize how crazy you look? I didn't answer. I didn't even play them to the end. Instead, I made breakfast at Jasmine's, stirred honey into my coffee, and watched the sunlight move across her white tiles like it belonged to people who made clean exits. At 11:45, right on schedule, I logged into the Utilities app and pressed Cancel Service. A single click, a short hum of satisfaction. 12 minutes later, the first explosion arrived. Noah, the power just shut off. You wouldn't... Then a second. Noah, wow, real mature. I have Remy here, and she can't even charge her phone. And finally, the dramatic crescendo. Noah, you're ruining everything out of spite. I hope you're proud. Proud wasn't the word. Finished was closer. By 1 p.m., the chorus expanded. Delia, his sister, who'd never texted me before except to send memes about good girlfriends being patient. Sable, what are you doing? Noah says you've disappeared. This is insane. He's heartbroken. Carla, his self-appointed moral compass of a friend. You don't throw away a relationship because he's helping someone. That's cold. And a new number I didn't recognize. Hey, this is Remy. Not sure what your issue is, but maybe grow up? You're leaving him in a bad spot. I stared at the screen. The audacity was breathtaking, as if courtesy required me to sponsor their reunion. I set the phone down again and opened my laptop. Time to finish this properly. Email, 1:37 p.m. To Mr. Anderson. Subject, lease termination documentation. Body, attached letter, photographs, time-stamped move-out confirmation. The tone read like legal steel. 2:05 p.m. My phone rang. Unknown number. Ms. Hart? A calm voice said. Yes. This is Mr. Anderson. I've just spoken with Mr. Doran. Noah. He says you abandoned the unit without notice. I sent formal notice yesterday with supporting photos. I see that. He's also indicated he can't afford full rent and wishes to keep the lease shared. That's between you and him now, Mr. Anderson. My notice stands. There was a pause, the kind people make when they're realizing a storm is coming. In that case, he said, if he can't cover the balance, I'll have to begin eviction proceedings. I almost smiled. Then I guess you'll be hearing from him again soon. After the call, I saved every file into a folder labeled Non-Negotiable, Proof. It sat neatly beside my design projects, a quiet archive of boundaries kept. By 4:06, Jasmine came home and found me still at the table. You look peaceful, she said, surprised. I'm cataloging evidence, I said. Apparently, that's what peace looks like. She raised an eyebrow. He's texting again, isn't he? Constantly. We ordered takeout. I ignored every buzz. The food arrived before my resolve wavered. At 6:12, the apartment doorbell rang downstairs. Jasmine checked the intercom camera. It's him. Noah stood in the drizzle, holding what looked like a grocery bag. Performative humility. His voice crackled through the speaker. Sable, please, I just want to talk. We can fix this. Jasmine pressed the intercom button before I could. She doesn't want to talk. Leave. I deserve an explanation. She gave you one in writing, Jasmine said. Check your counter. He stepped back, looking up at the camera as if he could see through it. She can't just walk away like this. I picked up the microphone. Noah, I said, calm as the static between us. You said it wasn't negotiable. I agreed. Go home. He froze. Then I saw Remy step into frame, umbrella over both of them. She looked smug, the kind of smile that blooms when someone mistakes winning for worth. Guess she's serious, Remy said to him, loud enough for the mic to catch. Shut up, he muttered, but he didn't leave. Finally, Jasmine pressed the button again, her voice sharp. If you don't go now, we're calling the police. They went. After the elevator closed on them, I exhaled. Not relief exactly, more like the body releasing old air it no longer needs. That night, I opened my phone and typed one last message, not to him, but to myself, in the Notes app. Boundaries are not cruelty. They're just fences built after too many trespasses. Then I set the phone face down again. Outside, rain softened into a whisper against the window. Somewhere across the city, the apartment lights were off, the futon creaking under the weight of choices he thought were non-negotiable. I almost felt sorry for the silence waiting for him. Almost. By the end of the week, the storm had gone public. The first sign came on a Thursday morning. A ping from my coworker, Emma. Hey, I don't want to freak you out, but your ex is telling a story online. You might want to look. I clicked the link she sent. There it was, Noah's post, dramatic as a soap opera audition. A dimly lit selfie, captioned, When you give your all to someone and they leave you in the dark, literally. Had heartbreak, betrayal, be kind. He didn't tag me by name, but he didn't need to. The comments knew. Carla chimed in first. She left him after he helped someone in need. People are heartless. Delia followed. He deserved better. Some women only love you when it's easy. Then the stranger chorus, likes, sad emojis, sympathy claps, digital pity in 100 tiny heart shapes. I took a screenshot, saved it, added it to my non-negotiable proof folder. Because this wasn't heartbreak anymore, it was strategy. By noon, my mom called. Honey, are you okay? Someone named Carla just posted something on Facebook about Noah being abandoned. I'm fine, I said. He's just making noise. Do you want me to comment? Please don't. We don't feed fires. Okay, she said slowly. But if she tags me again, I can't promise restraint. At least Mom had limits too. That afternoon, Mr. Anderson left a voicemail. His tone had shifted from polite to exhausted. Ms. Hart, I wanted to update you. Mr. Doran hasn't paid full rent. He submitted half, but that's insufficient. Late fees begin tomorrow. I've advised him eviction will proceed if the balance isn't covered. I thanked him, forwarded the message to my Uncle Peter, who also happened to be an attorney. He called 10 minutes later. Proud of you for keeping everything documented, he said. You'd be amazed how often people forget screenshots exist. I'm guessing this isn't over, I said. Oh no, there's always one more bad idea before it ends. He was right. The next day, my email chimed. Subject, legal demand notice. No law firm letterhead, just a Gmail account. The first line made me laugh out loud. Dear Ms. Hart, our client, Mr. Noah Doran, has suffered damages due to your constructive eviction. I stopped reading there, forwarded it to Uncle Peter. He replied 5 minutes later with 3 words, amateur hour lawsuit. Then, because he's thorough, he sent an official response. Brief, surgical, devastating. My client followed all lease terms, provided written notice, and vacated with evidence. Your client's inability to fund his unilateral decisions is not actionable. Kindly cease contact. That was Friday. Saturday morning, the retaliation began. Noah posted a crying selfie on his stories. Captioned, Some people only stick around when it benefits them. Remy commented a heart emoji. Then she posted her own story, a mirror pic with the words, helping others shouldn't cost you everything. I realized then that she wasn't just crashing, she was auditioning. The next 48 hours turned into digital theater. Screenshots of my betrayal circulated on local gossip pages. Someone DM'd me a thread where a stranger wrote, "I'd never forgive a woman who left a man over kindness." I closed the app, logged out, turned off notifications. Silence returned like a guest who knew the code. At 8 p.m., Mr. Anderson called again. He still hasn't paid. I gave him until the 3rd. And after that, eviction filing. I hate to do it, but it's procedure. Do what you have to, I said. When I hung up, Jasmine looked up from the couch. They're sinking fast, aren't they? Apparently Remy doesn't have a job, I said. And Noah forgot how to budget without my half. She raised her glass. 2 natural consequences. By Monday, another email came. This time from Remy's account, though it clearly smelled like him. You've made your point. I shouldn't have said it wasn't negotiable. I should have talked to you first. But now I'm facing eviction. Please don't let it get this far. I stared at it, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Then I typed, Noah, you made a unilateral decision about our shared life. I made one about mine. The difference is, mine didn't hurt anyone but me. Stop contacting me. Any further messages will be documented. I clicked send, then created a new rule in my inbox. If sender equals Noah or Remy, folder, evidence, mark as read. By week's end, Mr. Anderson confirmed what I already knew. The eviction was in motion. Still, they weren't done trying to rewrite the story. Remy's post popped up again, this time on her own feed. Some women can't handle being with a man who has empathy. The comment section turned into a small war. Someone, maybe May from the building, replied, Empathy isn't moving in with your ex behind your partner's back. The internet chewed on that for hours. I didn't say a word, not in the comments, not in texts, not even in private. Instead, I opened my design sketches and colored over every line that used to remind me of him, dark graphite swallowing the ghost of shared plans. That night, as rain scraped the windows, I whispered to myself, sometimes the cleanest revenge is immaculate documentation. And I slept, dreamless. Because while they were posting for sympathy, I had already drafted my freedom into law. By mid-month, the story had started to eat itself. Noah and Remy's pity parade fizzled out once bills came due and sympathy stopped paying rent. I hadn't heard from them in over a week, until a message from Mr. Anderson blinked across my screen one Wednesday morning. Eviction finalized. They have 30 days to vacate. Thank you for your cooperation. I stared at the message longer than necessary. It wasn't joy I felt, just the still, hollow quiet that comes after a storm, the kind that makes you notice how peaceful paperwork sounds. 2 days later, Jasmine found the update first. You should see this, she said, phone in hand. There it was, Remy's new post, a close-up selfie with red eyes and a caption that read, Helping people cost me everything. Lesson learned. And below it, a comment from Noah. You deserve peace too. The irony almost made me laugh. They'd turned their chaos into a duet. But the universe has its own sense of rhythm. Within the week, Remy moved out, not because of eviction papers, but because Noah ran out of funds. According to May, his sister, Remy had other options lined up the moment things got uncomfortable. He stayed behind in the half-empty apartment, now the one left in the dark. I didn't ask for updates, but the world has a way of delivering them anyway. 3 days before their final move-out deadline, a knock rattled Jasmine's door. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened it, Noah was standing there. No theatrics this time, no flowers. Just a man whose choices had aged him in fast forward. Sable, he said quietly, I needed to see you. I'd rather you hadn't. He nodded. I know, but everything's gone. She left. The landlord, he's giving me until Friday. He stopped, the words catching on something too big for him to swallow. I didn't realize what I had until I ruined it. I looked at him, really looked, and saw not cruelty anymore, just consequence. Remy didn't ruin it, I said. You did, when you decided what was non-negotiable for both of us. He exhaled, voice cracking. I thought I was being loyal to someone who needed me. And I was loyal to someone who didn't respect me. We both learned something. He looked down at the ground. I miss you. You miss comfort, I said. They're not the same. He gave a small, helpless laugh. You sound like your emails. I write clearly, I said. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a folded piece of paper, my original letter from the counter, the one that ended us. I kept it, he said. I don't know why. Maybe because it's the last time someone held me accountable. I didn't respond. There was nothing to fix. Finally, he lifted his eyes. So that's it? Nothing left to say? There is one thing, I said, stepping back into the hallway. When someone tells you their decision about your life is non-negotiable, believe them, and then make your own. He blinked, lips pressed together. I deserve that. I know. He turned, shoulders small beneath the weight of regret, and walked away. I didn't watch him go. The sound of his footsteps was closure enough. After he left, Jasmine came out from the kitchen, holding her mug like a prop in a calmer movie. That him? She asked. Yeah. And? Nothing, just paperwork in human form. She snorted. You want to celebrate? I've got wine. I shook my head. No, I've got something better. That night, I signed the lease on a small one-bedroom apartment across town. No shared furniture, no joint accounts, just light, space, and silence. When I moved in, I lit a candle in the empty living room, lavender this time instead of rosemary, and texted my mom, new place, all mine. She replied instantly, proud of you, baby. Boundaries look good on you. The next morning, sunlight spread across the floor in long, forgiving stripes. I made coffee, opened my phone, and saw one last email from Noah, sent at 3 a.m. I know you won't respond, and I deserve that. I'm sorry. For everything. I've lost the apartment, the job, and her. I learned my lesson too late. You don't owe me forgiveness, but I hope you find someone who deserves your steadiness. I didn't reply. Some messages are meant to close, not continue. I deleted the folder marked non-negotiable, proof, and created a new one titled Beginnings. In it, I dropped the scanned lease for my new place and a photo I took right then. Coffee mug on the windowsill, city humming below. Voiceover, soft and steady. When someone says your limits make you cruel, remember this. Boundaries aren't walls. They're windows that open when you stop waiting for permission to breathe. I set my phone down, stepped into the sunlight, and smiled without needing an audience. He wanted control. I wanted peace. I guess we both got what we asked for.